Today's conversation is sponsored by the Billy Keels Advisory Program. If you want to learn more about how to make your 9 to 5 optional, just go to billykeels.com/advising. Once again, that's billykeels.com/advising.
You're listening to the Going Long podcast, the #1 podcast for the strategies, tactics, and actions high wage earners need for living an intentionally designed life of wealth and resilience.
Welcome to the Going Long podcast. We're back once again to continue to help to educate you so you feel much more comfortable as well as confident in building the wealthy and resilient life that you're looking to lead and do that much faster. I'm your host, Billy Keels, and I am so excited to welcome you back to today's episode because, this is the newest and latest and greatest episode just for you from yours truly. So also want to say thank you, as I do every single episode, for each and every one of you that continue to come back. You continue to download the episodes. You share them. You share them with family. You share them with friends. We really appreciate that. And also that you're sharing across social media like LinkedIn and Instagram. You're tagging us. We really appreciate that. It keeps the conversation going even in the online world. So thank you so much for that. And then also, if you want to leave an honest written review as well as rating, let us know the things that you want to see improve, the things that you already like, you want to see more of. Feel free to leave your honest written review, and you can do that. If you don't know how to do that, at least on the Apple Podcast platform, we've got a nice little video that you can follow. It's really quick, simple, easy, and we'd love to hear your feedback. So also too, if you want to check out any of the previous 400 and some odd episodes, just go to billykeels.com/podcast. You can check out any episode, the transcripts, the audio, the video. Once again, it's billykeels.com/podcast. So one of the things that so many people struggle with today, and I know I've been in that category, and I can slip into the category every once in a while, and it is about being able to focus and having the focus to get stuff done. When you're focused and you get stuff done, you feel so much better. You feel liberated. You feel free. You feel like you've got so much that you can be doing. And when you're out of focus, life can get really, really frustrating. You're constantly behind the 8 ball. You don't feel like you're as productive as you want to be. All of these kinds of things. And I know that when I was building my side hustle while I was in corporate, one of the things, because my in the beginning, especially early on, when I was having some early success with my side hustle, and when I was doing well in my job, and when I was also performing well at home, like performing at a really high level, and you're switching from one thing to the next, sometimes it can be really exhausting and you get out of focus. And when you get out of focus, it can be this thing where you're just going around and around and around, and it could be days, it could be weeks, and it could even be longer than that where you're just not focused. And as much as I was loving my side hustle, as much as I was loving being a young father, as much as I was really loving really liking, not loving, liking the job that I had during the day, things just started spinning out of control, right? And there was not a focus, or at least I didn't feel focused. And so I remember working with, this is the thing, because I want to talk to you about the focus, but I also want to share one very simple tactic that you can use, that I used to use, that will help you get back into focus and get back into feeling like you are on top of the world and feeling like you are moving in the right direction. So let me share that with you. And this is one of the things that actually came out of a paid coaching engagement that I had with one of my coaches. And I think I pretty much talk about it all the time now. I didn't used to talk about it because I used to feel like, wow, I'm not deserving to invest in myself this much, especially because it was like almost a 6-figure investment for 1 year. It was like, oh, hang on a second, I'm not worthy of that. But once I allowed myself to do that and allowed myself to think that, yes, I am worth investing in myself, and I started making the investment, and I started then pulling on my coach to give me insights to help me in situations like the one I'm talking about with you today. There was this issue of focus and constantly switching from one task to the next. Well, what I started realizing is that a lot of the priorities that I needed to set and have them etched in stone and clear, and the specific steps to achieve the task, like I somehow wasn't doing that anymore. So with my coach, he shared with me, and I want to share with you because I've shared it before, which is the one thing that helped me get back to focus. Now, keep in mind that my coach and we were working on a number of different aspects. So I want to share one of the very specific tactics that we used that gave me the feeling of getting more done, having things focused, and then feeling like not like I was behind the 8 ball all the time. So what happened? So I want to share a technique with you I say a tactic, but it's a technique that you can use. And using this technique will help to give you the focus that you need. And the technique is called the Pomodoro technique. So this is one of the different things that my coach and I were working on to help give me an increase in productivity. And this is a major, uh, some people say it's a hack, but it's not a hack. It's just really getting clear and focused on one specific task. So I'm going to give you an example, but the Pomodoro technique is something that you can apply to your day to day. And I'm almost going to guarantee 100% that when you apply it correctly, no, I'm not almost going to guarantee it. When you apply it 100% correctly, I guarantee that you're going to feel much better about the outcomes that you're starting to produce, the results that you're beginning to produce. So what's the Pomodoro technique? Basically, it comes down to selecting your priorities and then the priorities that you need to do. And I'm going to, this was one of the things I started doing as I was starting a podcast back in the day. And so I knew that I wanted to get a podcast episode produced. And so back in the day, it was just kind of me doing my thing by myself. But what was it going to take to get the podcast produced? So applying the Pomodoro technique, there are a number of steps that you need to take to actually get to listen to the podcast, like you're listening, or maybe you're watching on YouTube or something like that now. But what I would do is I would apply the Pomodoro technique for the podcast, for getting the podcast out. And so what that means is I picked the priority was the podcast, a specific task, like get guests on the podcast. And basically, when you apply the Pomodoro technique, you work on one task until it's done, but you do it in a very specific way. So get ready to take out your pen and paper. Here it is. You basically work on a task for 4 different rounds of 25 minutes. So you have your very specific task. You have the outcome, the result that you want from that task to produce the podcast episode, or in this case, to get the podcast episode ready for production. And as you do that, you work on that one thing for 25 minutes. But here's the catch. You turn off every bit of access to technology and you just work on the one thing. And if something comes into your mind that you need to find out, you don't go to technology, because we all know you're going to go down a rabbit hole. You just take note of what you need to do once the 25 minutes is up. The first round of 25 minutes. And then once that's done, you set your timer and you have there's a little tomato. Pomodoro is tomato in Italian. But after the first 25 minutes, then you take a 5-minute break. You do whatever you want to do. You walk around, you go look outside, you get on a 2-minute phone call, but then you stop and you're ready to get back into the next 25 minutes to continue with the task. At the second round of 25 minutes, if you're still not finished with the task, you take another 5-minute break. 5 minutes, not more, literally 5 minutes. When you go back to the task, then you do another 25 minutes and you keep working on the task. You keep whittling away at the task. You don't get distracted. When you are in that 25 minutes, you don't do anything else. You put your phone in airplane mode. You move away from anywhere that anybody could come and contact you, because you don't want to be distracted. After the third round, if you're still not done with the task, go to another 5-minute break. After that, then you come back for your last round of 25 minutes. And if you still have not finished that, this time you're going to take a 20-minute break and you're going to walk around. You're going to do whatever. You're going to do 20 minutes. You go outside, you walk around, you maybe jump up and do some jumping jacks, whatever it is. You spend your time on not the work that you were doing. You completely keep yourself distracted for that 20 minutes, excuse me. So it's very simple. It's a very simple technique. It's basically 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. 25 minutes on, 20 minutes off. And the idea is that you're able to finish your task in that period of time. If you don't, then just start another one, right? And you do the maximum of kind of 2 on any one specific task. So everything starts with the priority. So the priority, you set the task, the outcome that you want, the result that you're looking for, and then you work the Pomodoro technique. Now, the thing is it can be complicated in the beginning because you want to go to your phone, you want to go online, you want to get the answer really quickly, but that is exactly the thing that's keeping you feeling like you're behind the 8 ball. When you apply the Pomodoro technique, you're giving yourself the option just to focus on that and nothing else. You're cutting out everything else around from the outside world. One of the things that I started realizing, like, I could apply this technique to so many different areas of my life. And the most important thing is that it helps me get focused, but it also is a byproduct of helping me feel like there's a much more productivity that's happening. I'm getting stuff done. And actually, you'll start to find that as you're in the 20-minute or 25-minute of pure focus, that time feels like it slows down and you start to get more done. Give it a try. It worked for me. It continues to work for me. Anytime I feel out of focus and I need to get back into getting stuff done and doing it, I don't wait weeks. I don't wait months. I start applying it like literally right away when I start feeling out of focus. So this is a technique. It's a very simple technique that can help you gain much more control of your focus and your productivity. So take it, run with it, apply it. I'd love to hear your feedback. Leave it as part of your honest written review. I'd love to know how this is working for you. Also, too, share it with your family, share it with your friends. And as you're doing that, apply the technique. Talk about how it's working, how it's not working. You can even Google it, Pomodoro technique. There's stuff you can buy that helps to set the time, paper, all this other kind of jazz. But I just want to give you the principles because it is something that has been helpful and continues to help me to this day. So while you're putting this into practice, I'll be here preparing for the next episode. So until then, go out and make it a great day. And thank you very much. Today's conversation was sponsored by the Billy Keels Advisory Program. If you're looking to make your 9-to-5 optional and need some help, just go to billykeels.com/advising. Once again, that's billykeels.com/advising.